Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, skimming walls after drywall repairs for a smooth finish, I'm going to show you the finer points of skim coating. Be sure you stick around to the end because I've got all kinds of skim coating tips and tricks throughout this video. I'll be using a 14-inch drywall taping knife, a 16-inch mud pan, and some thinned down all-purpose joint compound. And be sure to check out the rest of this drywall repair series where I also show you how to do corners with a 6-inch drywall taping knife, a way to skim the corners, and also how to use a corner tool. At the beginning of this project, I had to deal with some torn brown paper. I'll show you how to deal with that as well. All right, let's get into the video. All right, so here's the walls that I had to do the repairs on after I removed the wall to ceiling mirrors. I also have done one skim coat on this wall. So I'm going to show you how to get this wall smooth again. I'll be using my Werner work platforms to get all the high spots. These things come in really handy. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and scrape any ridges or high spots from the first coat and the drywall repairs. I'm just using my 6-inch taping knife just to go over it real quick. There's not a lot of ridges or anything, but you don't want to run into any surprises once you start skim coating. Again, I'm using an all-purpose joint compound thinned down to a thick pancake batter-like consistency. So I'm just going to get the compound up there and then I'm going to come back and smooth it all out. And if you're looking to step up your drywall, texturing, or painting game, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also the bell notification to get alerted whenever I post a new video. Alright, so if you notice, I'm putting on the mud horizontally instead of straight up and down in some areas. That way it fills from different directions. You always want to pay special attention to the corners where the wall meets the ceiling or where two walls meet up. This ceiling was a popcorn ceiling that I skim coated over the entire ceiling twice. I do have some how to skim coat over a popcorn videos. I'll leave a link to that in the YouTube card above now. So again, I'm not piling the mud up on my knife. I'm keeping it pretty consistent. So I'm not going to leave big piles of mud in one spot and then bare in another. Trying to keep it consistent. When you go back over it, you'll see where you need to pull and how hard you need to pull. Be sure to leave any questions about skim coating down in the comments. As soon as this video is over, I'm going to head down there and answer any questions that I can. Also want to say thanks to some of my subscribers that help out in the comments. I do appreciate that. I've been getting a lot of comments and it's hard to get to them all. So thanks for helping out in the comment section, guys and gals. You always want to pull away from corners and objects, say like this quartz fireplace mantle. I pull away from it. You don't want to go to it or you're just not going to have a nice finish. The cleaner you work with your mud, the less sanding you're going to have to do. I did not have to sand one bit after the first coat. All I did was scrape any high areas or ridges with my 6-inch knife. And also what I'm doing is I'm putting the pressure on the right side and lifting the left side ever so slightly. This keeps any lines from forming on the skim coat. See how I'm doing that? Pressure on the right, lifting on the left. When I'm going horizontally like that next to the fireplace, pressure on the left, lifting on the right. You don't want any lines down at the bottom or pushing mud out onto the fireplace surface. I'm telling you, if you don't have these work platforms, get some. They're very convenient for working up above where you can reach on a wall or ceiling. I did all the skim coating of the popcorn ceiling off these work platforms. All right, so we're already over halfway with the upper section. I'm going to drop back and just hit this lower section real quick. I also had to skim coat a drywall repair where I put in a full sheet of drywall. I'll leave a link in the YouTube card above where you can see how to skim coat a drywall repair. If you saw the first video of this video series, you really saw how hideous these walls were. And they're going to be like brand new by the time I'm done. This will be the last skim coat that I'm doing on these walls. So 2 skim coats, and I'll probably end up doing a touch-up skim coat before I do any sanding. Having good lighting is key. I have 2 LED work lights that really light up the work area. The bright lights also help you see any imperfections as you're going. And then once it's dry, you can walk around with your light and kind of mark up where you need mud just by visual. And also you want to take your hand and feel the wall. A lot of times you can't see a dip or a divot, but if you go over it, you can feel it. All right, again, I'm just slicking it out after I've applied the mud. Little tricky getting around these objects with the 14-inch knife. But where there's a will, there's a way, right? Again, working clean. Careful along the floor. You don't want to drag any debris or anything up into the skim coat. Let me know in the comments what kind of drywall repair you're working on. All right, just adjusting the lights a little so I can see better. There's a little spot I need to hit. I'm always looking for spots that I missed, or if there's a little ridge. Anytime you change the lighting, you're going to see different stuff. So it's always good to keep the lights moving and keep everything lit real good. I'll leave links to all the tools that I've used in this video down in the description. I get a lot of questions. How long does it take a skim coat to dry? It actually depends on what you're going over. If you're skimming over a painted surface, it's going to take a little longer to dry. If you're skim coating over joint compound, say a second coat or a drywall repair, it dries really fast. These walls that I'm skimming right now will probably be completely dry within 2 to 3 hours using this all-purpose joint compound. There's that corner that I did in a previous video with the corner tool. So I'll leave a link to the corner tool video if anyone's looking how to do corners. It's important to keep debris out of your mud. Once you see a little piece of something get on the wall, just go ahead and pick it off so you're not dragging it around. Nothing worse than having scratch marks in your skim coat. Pressure on the right, lifting on the left. No line. Minimal amount of mud on your knife when you go. You don't want it squishing out both sides of your knife. Pressure on the right, lifting on the left. Pressure on the right, lifting on the left. Making a nice slick finish. No lines. Minimal sanding. I'll be using a 150 grit sanding sponge. You don't want to use too heavy of a grit on a slick finish or you're going to have scratches. Again, I'm getting the mud up there and I'm going to come back and slick it out again. I probably do about a 5 foot by 5 foot area and then drop back and smooth it out. A lot of times it depends on how much joint compound's in my mud pan. Once I get to the end, I'll drop back, slick it out, and I end up with another half of a mud pan full of joint compound. Right there, I'm pressure on the right, lifting on the left. No lines. I know I keep saying it, but that's all you got to do basically. Once you figure the pressure points of your taping knife and the joint compound, skim coating's a breeze. And if skim coating looks a little difficult by hand for you, I've got a video where I show you how you can use a paint roller to apply a skim coat. I'll leave a link to that video in the YouTube card above now. Alright, so I'm on the home stretch on the upper section. I like to leave all the details in these videos so you can see exactly how I do it. Gotten a lot of feedback and people really enjoy being able to watch the uncut versions of my videos. I mean, I skim coated this whole wall in 20 minutes. And this is a good sized wall. I'd say it's 8 feet tall and probably about 18 feet long. So 20 minutes is pretty quick. Might take you a little longer, might need to do a little more sanding, but in the end, you're going to get a professional result. Again, you want to pull away from corners, keep the mud at a minimum, and then you can go back over it without a bunch of mud squishing out your knife onto the corner. Corners are very important to keep nice and square. I also have a video where I show how to do an inside corner using a 6-inch taping knife. I'll leave a link to that video in the YouTube card above now. Again, I'm going horizontally to fill anywhere where on the first coat I went vertically. These other walls had wallpaper, so I had to remove the wallpaper and skim coat those as well. Those videos will be coming. They're in the editing room right now. I appreciate everyone sticking around and watching these videos. It took me less than a full bucket of joint compound to skim coat this wall. I always keep my 6-inch taping knife in my back pocket for scraping any high spots I run across that I might have missed on the initial scrape. I'm on the final leg of this second round of skim coating. Alright, so again, I'm just filling and going to drop back. And you don't have to go all the way down to the floor. Baseboards will be covering the lower section there. Don't pile up mud though, you want your baseboard to sit flat. So you do want to pay special attention to wherever you're doing mud work. Pulling away from the quartz. Pressure on the left, lifting on the right when I'm going in this direction. This area is where I had the most problem with the torn brown paper. I had to use a Guard's problem surface sealer to fix the torn brown paper. I'll leave a link in the YouTube card above now so you can learn how to repair torn brown drywall paper. Looking good, looking good. Little ways to go. Thanks for sticking around and watching. Hopefully you're getting something out of this video that you can take on the job or on your project. I know I wish I had YouTube when I was learning. This makes it so much easier to get a first-hand perspective of how things are done. I love helping people do projects that I know they can do, they just need a little instruction. So thankful for YouTube, because whenever I'm trying to figure out how to, I don't know, do tile or do something, I go straight to YouTube and look it up. So thanks, YouTube. Again, going around the outlets and stuff, you got to be really careful. You don't want to pile any mud whatsoever in there. Also, make sure the power's turned off if you're going to be working around the electrical outlets without covers. I'll tell you, I'm ready to be done with this project though. I've been skim coating for 4 days now. That's the air conditioning intake. Had to do a drywall repair around that as well. This great room had not had any renovations or remodeling done since the early 80s. About when floor-to-ceiling mirrors went out of style. Alright, I'm just taking my time around this stuff. I use the 14-inch taping knife the whole time on this. You always want to use at least a 12-inch taping knife when you're doing skim coating. I prefer the 14, but maybe it could be a little hard for someone to maneuver if you're not used to using taping knives. I treat every job like it's my house. I want people to be happy when I'm gone. I don't want anyone looking around going, oh, look what he missed here, look what he missed there. So I'm very meticulous when it comes to the drywall finishing or skim coating. All right, going to smooth it all out. Pressure on the right, lifting on the left. I do have to do another skim coat on this adjacent wall where I removed the wallpaper, so I'll be tightening up that corner as well. If you watch this whole video, leave a hashtag DrywallTube in the comments. That way I know who's watching these videos. Alright, so the wall is skim coated. I'm going to let that dry. Like I said, probably about 2 to 4 hours. It'll be completely dry since I was going over joint compound. And if you're looking to step up your drywall texturing or painting game, be sure to hit that round icon in the middle of the screen now to keep up with all my latest videos. And if you have a friend that's a DIYer, be sure to share this video with them on Facebook or Twitter. Check out one of these videos down below. Thanks so much for watching.